Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back. Hope you've been enjoying the videos. So now, we've got a little bit more information, aside from free agency kind of working its way through with spring training right around the corner, more guys being signed, but we now have a little bit more of an understanding as to what the 2021 season is going to look like. And now we've got an agreement last night between the Players Union and MLB that there's not going to be a universal DH in 2021, but there will be expanded playoffs. And they've agreed on health and safety protocols for kind of re-entry of fans back into stadiums and so on. So we've got a little bit more of a in-depth understanding on that in terms of when fans will be allowed. I don't know if they have the exact totals yet in terms of how many fans. I know there was discussion on spring training, and it's probably likely going to be a gradual phasing back of fans into the stadiums throughout the season. But that also depends on how stringent and how well safety protocols are being followed, and providing there's not going to be flare-ups and so on and so forth. But they will be following the appropriate distancing protocols and everything else. But today I want to talk about five prospects that we might not be thinking of from just various teams that I think can make an impact at the MLB level for their teams. And I'm not talking about the Wander Francos and the people that are projected to be can't miss and all that stuff, even though can't miss is not a real thing for almost every single guy. I still want to talk about these guys because you probably never heard of them, but they can make an impact on their team based on positional need or positional availability now and so on. So number one, his name is George Valera, and he's an outfielder working his way through the Cleveland Indians system. And the Indians have a need for positional players, and he's a left-handed hitter who hits to all fields. So he's a good contact hitter. He's got the ability to move the ball anywhere. Like I said, he's a good contact hitter. He's a good base runner, and he's really good at going from first to third or second to home and so on. So he gives them a little bit more of an athletic versatility, kind of the base running capabilities that Francisco Lindor had. He has that similar type of skill set, and the lefty bat also helps replace a Lindor. Not at that production level, obviously, but it gives them a left-handed option too, but from the outfield. And there's an open opportunity in Cleveland, and he's one that can come up. He's been gradually working his way throughout the system and progressing at all each level. And unfortunately for every minor leaguer this year, the pandemic wiped out their 2020 seasons, but that said, his skill set and his intangibles are pretty high. And I would look out for him because if he does come up to the majors, even if it's a cup of coffee, I think he'd make a nice fit and make an impact at the Cleveland for the Cleveland Indians. Not necessarily at the Lindor level right away, obviously, but he'd be a good fit there. So George Valera, so look out for him. Number two, Hunter Brown. And I'm looking at my book here. He's a right-handed pitcher for the Houston Astros farm. Obviously, Verlander's down with Tommy John. Greinke's on a sharp decline. They lost Cole the year before. So they're pretty much down 3 ace-level pitchers. And there is a need. They brought in a reliever, but they still have a need for pitchers, even though they have Urquidy and some of the younger prospects. This is one of the guys that has been working his way through the system too. He was the number 5 pick overall in the 2019 draft out of college, out of Wayne State University, which I think is in Michigan. And again, he's been progressing through the system very nicely, very, very gradually and smoothly. He's really, really good. He's got 3 refined pitches too. So he's got good command, good control, and 3 out pitches, which once you get to the level where you have 3 out pitches, you're going to be as close to Major League ready as possible. That's a good sign, whether it be fastball or slider or curveball or whatever it is, changeup. But 3 out pitches is a sign of a good pitcher, and that's someone who could probably stay on a stick at the Major League level for quite some time. So look out for him. Again, his name's Hunter Brown. He's a right-handed pitcher for the Houston Astros who need pitching. Okay, number 3, Maximo Acosta. He's a shortstop for the Texas Rangers, and what do you know? They just traded Elvis Andrus to the Oakland A's as part of a trade for Chris Davis and some of the other folks. I think it was a 5-player trade in total. Chris Davis has generally been playing DH, and Marcus Semien has already moved on from Oakland. But there's a spot in Texas now with Andrews being out. He is a let's see, he's an international prospect. I think was brought in 2018 and 2019. He's also been working his way through the system as well. Of course, with him, just like everybody else, the pandemic postponed, his next step or his progression. So, but he has drawn comparisons to Gleyber Torres, which is a good thing. And he's, Torres right now is more of a bat than he is, and he still has work to do at the defensive level at shortstop, and he's been working with some people, so hopefully he'll have a better season defensively too. But this guy is also, he has a quick release from the glove, so scoops the ball and gets it out of his hand quickly, which is a sign of a strong infielder too. That's something that Torres also needs to work on. But he's got a good solid bat and a quick release and a good transition from catching it to throwing it, which makes him a good looking prospect. So I would look out for him to get an opportunity at the Texas Rangers level. He can make an impact there too. And then again, Texas is in need of guys right now. They need pieces. They need players. So look out for him. Number 4, Francisco Morales. He's a right-handed pitcher for the Philadelphia Phillies system. The Phillies also need pitching, okay, particularly at the starting level. They brought in Archie Brantley for the bullpen, but they're down Arrieta. I mean, their starting pitching has been a little bit of a question mark. So they obviously have Nolan, they have Zach Wheeler, but there's still spots that can be filled. He's been progressing too. He's a power arm. Okay, he's got about his command's been getting better for the last 2 or 3 years, which is a good sign too with the power arm. Tops out at about 96, 97 miles an hour on average, or for regular, I should say. With good control again, with good command, good movement, which is a good sign if you throw that hard. He's also, they've already put him on the 40-man roster to protect him from the Rule 5 draft, so you know that they're looking to move him up through the system too. He made his 2019 debut in the pros, and unfortunately 2020 happened, but he was progressing and he's already on the 40-man roster, so that's a good sign for a power arm like this when you want to protect you from that draft, so other teams don't take you. So I would look out for him to maybe get a shot this year too. And number 5, Quinn Priester. He's actually a right-handed pitching prospect for the Pittsburgh Pirates organization. And look at that. No Cole, no Taillon, no Musgrove. They need pitching too. So, and he's a young, dynamic pitcher. He was their first round pick in 2019. And he's already been bumped up, in the pro levels when he had the opportunity. His command and his pitches have been improving also, and his movement, so that's a good sign. And he actually has a good feel for the ball, so that's a good sign too, because he also has multiple pitches that he can get people out with. When you have a good feel, then he can make good adjustments. He can transition well upwards. So those are the 5 prospects I think it can be a good idea to keep your eyes out for other teams. So you've got Pittsburgh, we got Philly, Texas. Who else we have? We've got Houston and Cleveland. Okay. There's a bunch of other prospects, but keep an eye out for these 5, or a couple of these 5, because I think you might be hearing about them this year. Next video, I'm going to go over 3 prospects that I think can make a difference for the New York Yankees this year in 2021, because I think there's some opportunities and some openings for the Yankees to let a couple young guys come up and do their thing. With a kind of a frustratingly inconsistent offseason for them, particularly with a lot of fans as well. There's some young guys and that I think can come up and have an impact at the major league level. So we'll talk about the next video. So, but if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. Hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.